Hi friends, in this session I am going to show the demo of serialization in Hazelcast. First thing is why we need to serialize the data. Because when you are making the cluster, we are connecting multiple members. Each member will be different IP address. But still it is a cluster. We are able to partition the data, and when we are retrieving, data should be coming from the partition table where it is actually resides. Example, I have a cluster of 4 Hazelcast members. I am trying to retrieve data in the member 1, which is there in the member 3. So when I am trying to retrieve data, it is coming over the network. In general, in Java, if you are passing the data over the network, we have to do the serialization. So here also same thing. If you want to, when it travels from the one member instance to other member, there again if you are trying to convert it to the string to object, we need to serialize the data. Then only it will be consistent over the member to member. That's why we have to provide serialization. We have different types of serializations available in Hazelcast. Hazelcast supports multiple types of serialization, like serializable, which is already provided by JVM. So we have no need to do anything. Just for the class which we are sending over the network, we have to say implement serializer. We can use externalizer, which we have to provide implementation. Apart from that, we have multiple options are there. By default, people will try to use serializable because it's already provided by JVM. But there are some drawbacks in using serializable interface. It takes more time and CPU utilization, and it is not supported by native clients. That's why in this demo I am showing the custom serializer, which is there are two types of custom serializer available in Hazelcast. One is stream serializer, other one is byte array serializer. So in this demo I am showing how to use stream serializer. When you are using this serializer, custom serializer, we have no need to do anything, no need to implement in the class or object which we are sending over the network, but we have to provide the implementation of that interface, and that need to be configured in the Hazelcast configuration, and it is supported by Hazelcast. By default, if you are storing where and all we have to do this serialization is like if you are storing the data in the map or queue, or you are using for notification, sending from one member to other member, or using the logs. All the operation which we are storing in the Hazelcast need to be serialized. So I am for the demo purpose, I am creating one employee object. I am storing it into the map. Employee. I am adding some members to this employee class. String name, private string, employee ID, private int age. So I am adding status for this. So I am saving this. If I am using Java serializable interface, it's just need to implement serializable. But in this demo, I am using stream serializer. So for stream serializer, we have to provide implementation separately to another class. So I am giving employee serializer. This implements stream serializer. So here in the type we have to specify the what type this object is. If it is employee, so our case it is employee. If you are having multiple objects, we can provide multiple implementation and we can add it to the config. So we have to provide the implementation methods. So our main focus is on read and write. In case of serialization, it uses object input stream and object output stream, and JVM will try to convert from the model to out object or in object. Here we have to provide our own implementation. Hazelcast by default provides support for wrapper classes like byte, long, boolean, string, integer, char, double, float, and their array classes like integer array, double array, byte array, string array. All these are inbuilt provided by the Hazelcast serializer. No need to serialize those objects. If you are only just using those things, no need to provide some. Apart from that, it provides date class, Java util date, and big decimal, big integer, Java long class. These 4 classes also be taken care by Hazelcast. We have no need to write any serializer for those classes. So now I am going to return employee object. So I am creating an employee. And emp dot set age. For age I have to use in dot get read int for the integer value. For string it is utf emp dot set name, it is in dot read utf. Similarly employee dot set employee id emp id in dot read utf and return employee object. Similarly in the right we are going to pass in the out object, out dot write utf for string object dot get name employee id. Similarly out dot write utf for name get name, and for integer it is just write. So out dot write object dot get age. So I am saving this. So now I have to provide this configuration in Hazelcast config object. So I am going to, we have to follow the same implementation in both client and member. So I am going to take serializer interface, serializer config, yes, config equal to new serializer config. So sconfig dot set same copy dot set the type class, which type class this serializer is. So in our case it is employee class, employee dot class, and what is the it's not get, it is set dot set implementation. What is the implementation for this serializer class? New employee serializer. So now I need to add this to my config object. So config dot get serialization dot add serializer. We can add multiple number of serialization configs in this. Similarly, if I have employee object is already there, I have payment object, payroll object, any different models are there, and if you are storing in the cache, if you want to if you are serializing, we can add those things. So I am using my sc config. S config CON. That is config spelling is wrong, so I am getting that error everywhere. So let me change it. It is Hazelcast instance. So I know I'm going to use some IMAP to store this data. So I can add that IMAP configuration also in this config object. So I'll show how we can do that. Map config. Equal to new map config. New map config with name emp cache. And we can set what is the TTL time. Time to leave. By default it is 0. The data will not be removed from the cache. If you want to set some timer, we can set it. So I'm just setting this. And in general we'll be having multiple caches, so it will maintain a map of map configs and we can add them. So in my case I'm just adding only one. So string comma map config. Map equal to new hash map. Hash map. I'll just add import statements. Sorry. Import Java util map and this Java util. Now I have to store it in the config object. Config dot set map configs. It take the map object, which is map, and save this. So now I'm going to store it the data in my cache. So IMAP map equal to h dot get map. Map name is emp cache. So I'm going to store the data as string and employee object. I need to add import for this IMAP. Hazelcast code. I'll add this. Import com dot Hazelcast dot core dot IMAP. So I'm going to store IMAP dot put key is some test. I need to create one new employee object and then I have to store. So I'm just creating one employee object equal to new employee. E dot set age 20. E dot set name test employee and ID is E dot set employee ID is test 1 or test 1 to 3. Save employee object. Sys out print cat size. IMAP dot size. So now let me run this member. Run as Java application. So we got some exception. Type ID must be positive. Okay. Oh, we should return some unique number. So I'll just put 11. Now let me run again. Run as Java application. So my server is started and it put the value in the cat. So cat size is 1. If I want to retrieve this in the client side, so our client is also in the same class, so we only just need to provide that configuration. So I'll copy from here so that it will be fast. I'll take my serializer config. And config dot get serialization config dot add serializer config, and here it is sconfig. Save it and start. I will retrieve data from the map IMAP. I'll add this IMAP. This out. IMAP dot cat it is test. Key is test. Employee. So let me start the client. Run as Java application. So we are getting cannot read 4 bytes. Serialization util Java 13. Reads so let me check this. What is the error happened? Cannot read 4 bytes. The error says cannot read 4 bytes because while writing I have used write, but while reading I have used read int. That's why it was giving that error. So while writing also I have to use write int. So whatever the write you are using, while reading you have to use the same method with read. So now I am going to stop and restart the server and client. Let's see. If you are not using different read and write methods, we'll get EOF exception, end of file exception. Now I'm going to start my client. See, now it was able to serialize the object, and it was able to deserialize and able to print the employee object. Thank you friends. Please subscribe to my channel.